What's up, guys? Hades here. I hope you had a great New Year's. It is the second, well, depending on when you see this video, but the winter event just ended and all the big players have Medusa completely maxed out. So what we're going to do today is look through the high scores on the throne with all the mega whales, see who's using Medusa, how they're using Medusa, and if it's even good right now. And I'll give you a little sneak peek. It is very good, but we'll find out in just a moment. So what does Medusa even do? If you didn't know, she is a high damage carry who isn't relying on her ultimate for damage, because her damage actually comes through her passive. Now her passive does 600% at max rank to all enemies every 6 seconds as a passive. It's kind of like Menko. After he does his charge, he hits every 3 seconds. Hers just automatically starts at the start of battle every 6 seconds. She deals her 600%. Now, if she hits that passive against a target with Mark of Revenge, it does a bonus 30%. Now to her active, she pretty much cleanses herself of everything, puts a beam of petrification on all her opponents, which has a 70% chance at max rank, and it petrifies them for 3 seconds. Now, it adds Mark of Revenge to targets that resist the purification. So if that 30% miss lands on them, that's when they take the bonus damage. So if they don't get petrified, they take bonus damage. So high damage. And then when you add her artifact, this 3 seconds on both go up to 6. So she's very strong. But what makes her so strong? The big thing is that Alex and Knife Through Butter, or Ares and Knife Through Butter, aren't going to affect her damage. The reason Knife Through Butter has been breaking the meta and the mega whales have been using Alex is because if you use someone like Apollo, right? Huge burst damage, but if you can cut down his energy, he's not going to do any damage. And you're going to see that with some of these marches. They're using Ares with Knife Through Butter, or they're using Alex with Knife Through Butter to stop things like Apollo, things like Loki. But you can't do that with Medusa, because energy or no energy, that 600 damage is coming down, and it's just like Menko, and it's really hard to deal with Menko, but she's the legendary version of it. So let's jump into some reports to see exactly what she's doing. Here's another report with Medusa. The skills are a bit different. We have Drastic Action, Unyielding, and Time to Shine. I'm not a huge fan of these three together. Drastic Action is not quite the skill I would use. Also, we have a missing level 60 artifact with missing 35. However, that doesn't really matter, as the opponent has probably the second most powerful march we've seen. Most of the top players who aren't using Medusa are using Apollo with some sort of Anubis Alex or Anubis Ares type of team, and Fufei has been Fufei or Ninetales, and this setup has been extremely successful right behind the Medusa. But what's happening here, right? If we dive into the stats, we'll see Silent Gaze is doing most of the damage, and that bonus Mark of Revenge is doing a bit of damage as well. Drastic Action is doing just a tiny bit, at normal attacks doing very little. And on the other side, we see only 2 ultimates from Apollo. Now it's really hard to find a report with a Medusa versus a main not damaged. You can see there is a little bit of damage, but even disregarding that, we're gonna watch this replay just to see kind of how these fights are playing out, because if we can understand how the fights play out, we're gonna understand it better. So I'm gonna slow it down here. Both teams have Fountain of Life, so no one can be stunned or silenced right now. After the dragons unfold, you can see Assist is being activated. Fufei has been chipped down significantly already from Knife Through Butter activations and through the first ultimate of Medusa. There's the second one. Ares has dominated Alex from that extra damage Medusa has provided. Apollo provided his first and then second ultimate in rapid succession, but because he's already damaged so low from the poke from Medusa, that's what those fights look like, right? This is very common occurrence. If you go into the replays and watch these fights, you're gonna see this happen over and over again. Okay, here's another report. Medusa, 3 skills: Battle Frenzy, Time to Shine, Energy Mastery, paired with Ares. This is another team Very similar. Bjorn and Anubis do almost exactly the same thing. He does have Battle Frenzy to counter, as Medusa has Battle Frenzy to counter, right? Battle Frenzy is going to target Apollo, and this Battle Frenzy is going to target Medusa. They're both going to get reduced. Of course, this team has also been worn down a few times, so it's going to have missing troops. But it's not all sunshines and rainbows, right? Getting Medusa does not automatically mean you win. And if we watch this replay, we're going to see what kind of happens when you're on the back foot a little bit, right? This support has a little bit of damage already taken. The knife through butter activations don't come through on this report, which means Apollo does get an early ultimate, which didn't happen in the last report. He did get reduced once, but if he doesn't get reduced again, he will ult, and if he ults first, he will have a significant advantage in this match. And you can see the chip damage has already got the support down. The first ult completely wipes their team, and that's the power of critical hits, right? So Medusa is very strong. She's getting off many early hits like the first report, but when you don't get your activations or you hit it in the shields and then the opponent gets to ult and they crit, there's nothing you can do. That's been this meta for a long time. When Loki crits, when Apollo crits, you get wiped anyway. So if you don't get the same level of crits, this is the RNG portion of the game, right? So it's not all just broken. She's very good. I'd place her in the top 3 or 4 immortals easily, but you can't just get her and win, right? Also, of course, it was an unfair fight. She'd lose some troops, of course, but this is kind of how the meta has been shaping out. Medusa has been extremely strong, but if Apollo is maxed out, gets everything, gets the crits, you know, that's what's gonna happen. Full damage with the crit bonus, there's not a whole lot you can do. So yeah, I hope you guys like seeing these kind of videos, giving you the best information on what is powerful in this game. If you like these videos, make sure to leave a like and comment. I'll check you in the next one.